Call to order. Good evening. I would like to call this meeting to order at 7:05 p.m. on Tuesday, September 9th, 2025. This is to advise the general public and to instruct that it will be recorded in the minutes that with compliance with Chapter 231 of the Public Law 1975 entitled Open Public Minutes Act, Hardyston Township Board of Education posted a meeting notice setting forth the time, date, and location of this meeting at the office of Hardyston Township Board of Education and on the district's website, and emailed it to New Jersey Herald to the office of the municipal clerk of Hardyston Township. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Ms. Verso, roll call, please.
Mr. Anthony Alfano.
Here.
Mrs. G. Barrett.
Here.
Mrs. Donna Carey.
Here.
Mr. Nick Demsack.
Here.
Mr. Brian Drellick.
Here.
Mr. Ron Hoffman is absent. Mrs. Susan Lucarelli.
Here.
Ms. Clarissa Murata.
Here.
Mr. Edward Reinley. We have quorum.
We are entering the workshop. Are there any updates to the agenda?
There was one thing. There was one item, we added an assistant coach for soccer. And where would that be?
Policy?
It's personnel. No, I don't see it. Here it is, P2. There's an assistant soccer coach that was added at the last minute. That's all.
Okay, thank you. Committee reports?
There was no curriculum committee meeting this week, or last week.
Thank you. Tony, for the finance, facilities, operations, and technology?
Yeah, there was a meeting on September 4th, very light because August, the bills were very small because, all we had was just summertime payroll of about $500,000. So that was the bills list. We had a little bit of transfers. It was uneventful. We did have, which we'll vote on, joint transportation agreement. Thank you, Sue Verso, for saving us some money on the bus. Again, we made a deal with Wallkill Valley, saved a route or so, and saved, we don't know how much we saved. It's right around 40, 50 grand, I think.
About almost 30,000.
How much?
About 30,000.
30,000. And maybe I'm getting ahead of Dr. Ryder, but we got a grant that we'll be using for the new radios for the RPOs and some staff. And we'll have the money most of the money for the LED sign for the elementary school. So thanks, Dr. Ryder, for securing that grant. I realize that there's some hoops we have to jump through logistically to get it. You have to do some online something or other. I guess in your report you'll let us know what it entails, but it looks like it's coming soon, the money, sometime this year. And that's it. It was a light month.
Ms. Verso, did you find out if we can start to utilize that funds and complete an account like we talked about so we could purchase these radios sooner?
I actually got confirmation today that they received all the paperwork that they need for the funds.
Fantastic.
So as soon as I go through that whole email, we can probably work with Mike and get
Awesome.
everything.
Procure those sooner than later.
Yes.
Thank you.
Is that also for the sign, Ms. Versa?
All the funds that we have them in, so it'll encompass all of it.
Great. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Great, thank you.
Town council was pleased. We didn't need money from them.
Okay.
They're delighted, no doubt.
Yes.
For personnel and policy, we held our meeting on September 4th at 7:30. There were some questions about policy 2422. which we went over. Basically, you will see on the policy list all the first reading of the policies on today's agenda. Policy 2422, we also asked to split up to 17A and 17B, which covers two separate categories. And that's all I have. For the President's report, I just wanted to welcome everyone back from vacation. On behalf of Board of Education, we extend a warm and heartfelt welcome back to all of you. To our students, we are thrilled to see your bright faces returning back to the classrooms, hallways, and playgrounds. This year promises new adventures, friendships, and opportunities to learn and grow. Whether you're just starting pre-K or 8th grade, know that we believed in your potential, and we are here to support your journey every step of the way. To our dedicated parents and guardians, thank you for your unwavering partnership in education. Your involvement makes all the difference, and we look forward to collaborating with you to ensure it's successful and enriching year for your children. Let's continue to build on strong community together. We meet here every month on the second Tuesday at 7 p.m. To our exceptional staff, your passion, expertise, and commitment inspire us all. As we embark on another year, we appreciate the hard work you put into creating a safe, nurturing, and innovative learning environment. We are grateful for everything you do. Safety, academic excellence, and student well-being will remain our top priorities. We've been busy preparing our schools and enhanced resources, engaging programs and measures to foster a positive atmosphere for everyone. Here's to a fantastic 2025-2026 school year filled with curiosity, achievement, and joy. If you have any questions and ideas, please don't hesitate to reach out. Welcome back, Hardison family. Mr. Ryder?
Sure, thank you. And welcome back, everybody. It's great to see a small crowd. It's good. Over the summer, we held an annual security meeting with Police Chief Scott Lobin to review the annual security checklist. The meeting lasted approximately an hour and a half, and as always, it was both positive and very productive. He's great to work with. And as Mr. Alfano was saying, the district has been awarded the REAP grant in the amount of $50,000, and once our business administrator, Sue Verso, establishes the required account to receive the funds, which sounds like all the necessary paperwork is in and so forth, so we should start moving very soon. We'll move forward with the planned security enhancements, including the upgrades to the repeaters and radios. And if you weren't at our meetings last year, what this means is that for the first time, between the elementary school, the middle school, and the Hardison Police Department, we will all be able to speak in real time through radios, handheld radios. So we can learn we can report and receive information in an instant, and it'll, I mean, from a few years ago, having no retired police officers in-house to now having one per building plus substitutes and having instant communication, things are looking very good here. I want to remark on the first days of school. The first days of school went very, very well. The only challenge we encountered, and it's not uncommon for the first few days, was that pickup patrol, if you're a parent, is very, very important, especially at the elementary school. We have many kids riding the bus and many kids being picked up. And unless it's organized, it is organized perfectly, but unless everybody follows the procedures and uses the apps, if that doesn't happen, it can create chaos quickly and delays. So after one delayed afternoon, things went very, very well the following day. So that is great news. Thank you, parents, and thank you, Mrs. Smagli and your staff for doing a great job as always. Middle school STEM, I want to remark on this. This year, the middle school will expand its STEM program from 2 sessions per week to 3, while adjusting Spanish instruction from 3 sessions per week to 2. In STEM, students will consistently benefit from the support of 2 to 3 adults in the classroom every single day, creating greater opportunities for hands-on collaborative learning. Additionally, we are partnering with STEM Bridge Consulting to develop a comprehensive roadmap that directly aligns the New Jersey student learning standards with practical, engaging activities. This partnership will ensure that all standards are fully addressed while providing meaningful real-world experiences for every student. So we're looking forward to
Is that through a university?
No, it's a private consulting firm out of Warwick, New York.
Okay.
So, yeah. And then bus safety, just a public announcement for this. School is now back in session and our buses are on the roads each day. I want to remind everyone that all cars must stop when a school bus is loading or unloading children. This isn't just the law, it's about protecting our kids. If you see a driver failing to stop, please report it to the police right away. As a busing district, we all need to stay alert and do our part to make sure every child has a safe trip to and from school. All right, thank you so much.
Thank you. Okay, we're going to move on to Mr. Mayor to staff recognition.
All right.
Holly Roman.
Come on over. You got to get right in front of the camera here. See the camera right here? Come here, come on this side.
Oh, this one.
This side. This side. And smile pretty for the audience, the world. I was getting nervous, by the way, because it was like 7 o'clock. I didn't see you, so I started going through my emails saying I did invite her, right?
Yes.
So thank you. Thank you. All right. This evening, it is my honor to recognize one of our outstanding teachers, Holly Roman. Earlier this summer, the New Jersey Science Convention named Holly the recipient of the 2025 Anton Banco Award for Excellence in Elementary Science Teaching. This award honors Anton Banco, an engineer who co-invented small incision cataract surgery. The technologies and procedures he pioneered are still used by surgeons today and represent a true milestone in the evolution of STEM applications. Did you know that?
I did.
It is in his memory that the award is given each year to celebrate an exceptional elementary teacher from New Jersey who is inspiring the next generation of inventors, scientists, and engineers. Holly's 4th grade classroom is a place where science is never just a subject, but a way of thinking. She engages her students in authentic, hands-on experiences, whether exploring New Jersey's geology at High Point State Park, mentoring younger students in coding, or connecting literature and science to inspire curiosity. She creates a classroom culture where students see themselves as scientists, problem solvers, and leaders, supporting one another as they explore how science is everywhere in the world around them. The Anton Banco Committee praised Holly's ability to weave science across disciplines and into the community, building a launch pad for curiosity and innovation. As many of us know here in Hardiston, Holly is already regarded as a leader in STEM education, sharing her expertise at conferences and mentoring colleagues. Along with this recognition, Holly will receive a $2,000 award to support science instruction, as well as the opportunity to represent Hardiston at the New Jersey Science Convention this October. Joining her at the recognition dinner will be Dr. Galai Mafia and Principal Jen Samaglia, underscoring how proud we are of Holly's achievements. Please join me in congratulating Ms. Roman on this well-deserved statewide honor. Holly, your work inspires not only your students, but all of us in this district, and we are truly proud to celebrate you tonight. Congratulations.
I have a small piano program here.
say to all of you, to everyone, this is my 31st year in Hardiston. I student taught in Hardiston. Mr. Demsack, who I know I probably called Mr. Demsack back then sometimes too, was in my student teaching class. And
31 years ago?
well, no, that would have been a little longer ago than that. Because the last student teaching then.
We'll go with 31.
We'll go, yeah, a little longer. But I just want to say Hardiston has been my home for a long, long time. And it is indeed my honor and my great pleasure to teach the students here at Hardiston, to be a part of the Hardiston community through STEM night and math night and all of the things we do. We have a wonderful school system. We really do. And everyone, thank you for what you do, because what you do supports what we do. And we couldn't do it without you, and we couldn't do it without you either. So thank you, everyone, for all that you do. This is a great place to be. I wouldn't want to be anyplace else. I really would. So thank you.
Okay, we open up the floor for a public comment now. Please limit comments to action agenda items only. If anyone would like to come up to the microphone and speak?
Can I say something quick?
Sure.
I just want to apologize for being late. we're working out in JFK, and the traffic is disastrous, if anyone can even think about it. So I did my best to get here on time. I apologize for being a few minutes late. Hopefully, you can take that in consideration. Thank you.
Thank you, Ed. We are all public servants. This is what we do. We don't get paid for it. We completely understand. We all have full-time jobs outside of this place. Thank you. No public comment? Okay. We don't have any plans to go to executive session. Old business lists, meetings, regular meeting dates. We're moving on to new business. Motion to approve following resolution. Jean,
Excuse me? Yeah, I have something as far as new business goes.
Okay.
All right. There's something that I wanted to bring up tonight that indirectly affects this board, and it's a little uncomfortable, but it's about the slander that's been spread on social media about a few of us that are on the board, myself being one of them. One, the reason I want to bring it up here is because I don't go on social media or comment on posts, but the time has come to speak up, and what a better place to present the truth than at this meeting. And two, because I have an obligation not to defend myself, but to defend the trust that the people of Hardiston have placed in me with their votes, enabling me to serve on this board. There's a blog called the Hardiston School Blog, and I'm sure some of you have seen this, with the Hardiston B on it. That's nothing short of disgusting and a display of how bitterness can take control of someone's life. As public figures, we are expected to face disagreement and criticism, but that's not what this is. Someone on this board also called what's being done correction, but that's not what this is either. This is something called character assassination. I'm talking about the relentless attacks on certain members of this board for the sole purpose of seeing us fail, raise questions about our integrity, and damage our reputation to this community with deception and lies. What these people are presenting is not the truth. It is trash. It's loathsome and spiteful slander. It is cowardice at its lowest form. It is bullying. If Mr. Van Ginniken, and yes, I said his name because this is public knowledge, and his friends really cared about the kids as he so passionately espouses in his writing, then why would he want to tear down instead of build up? Why wouldn't he assist instead of attack certain people on this board? Well, I'm going to tell you why. It's the spiteful bitterness of a man because he didn't make it on the board, And the person that he was attacking during the campaign and did get on the board brought ethics charges against him, not because of personal attacks against her. It was because of his inappropriate behavior as a sitting president of the Hardiston BOE, using the domain name hardistonboe.com to do it. And I also confronted him about this. There is a Bible verse that I'm going to paraphrase, and it goes something like this. When the first person comes along and tells their side of a situation, he seems right, until the second person comes along and tells their side. Well, what I would like to do tonight is tell the other side of what you see going on social media. The first thing is this, and I'm going to try to do this in chronological order, okay? This is one of the first things that I believe he put out. This is some of what he wrote in this article. Public funds should support education, not personal disputes. Taxpayer dollars should be used to benefit students and schools and education, not to settle personal grievances. That's true. At the center of this issue is the board vice president, Jean Barrett, and board president, Donna Carey, who have repeatedly attempted to weaponize the legal resources that we have for their own personal and political purposes. Their actions have not only diverted taxpayer money away from education, but also undermined public trust in the Board of Education. Well, he has Oprah'd so many things, and I'm going to interject this right here. Talk about the time that's spent on some of these issues and the money that's spent for legal things. We talked about this not too long ago in an executive session about all the Oprah requests that they have presented, Mr. Van Ginniken and his friends, and Mrs. Sue Verso, sweet Mrs. Sue Verso, was close to tears, telling us how many of these Oprah requests came through, the amount of time it has taken her to deal with these issues, taken away from her duties as the board secretary, and also cost this board money because everything has to go past the lawyer. So he Oprah'd some of the things that I was saying, and I had asked him in a private meeting, he was on the board at that time, executive meeting, to please stop using Hardiston BOE to slander another member that was on this board, because they were both running for the board at the same time. Well, he refused to do that. So I thought maybe we could write a letter to him from the lawyer of the board. And he twisted my words in saying that I wanted to go ahead and do this without the majority of the board, but that wasn't true. That was his misconception and his presumption of what I was going to do. So eventually the board did decide to have the lawyer send him a letter saying, please stop using the board name, Hardiston BOE. And this is what he came up with. He told our lawyer that he would stop using it, but he would sell it to us. He'd sell us the domain name. I just think it's disgusting that a sitting board president would use it, well, yeah, at the time, would be deceitful enough to use Hardiston BOE to slander another board member. The true cost of this misuse, and he calls it illegal, legal actions. He's a hypocrite. He does the same thing himself. He's saying it's distracting from actual board responsibilities, what he did to Mrs. Verso. Real victims here are the taxpayers and the students who are watching their education funds be misused to serve personal vendettas. It wasn't so. We were trying to get a point across to him that it was just something that was despicable to use the board name for his benefit to get on the board. And then he goes, stay tuned. Well, I'll tell you the same thing. Stay tuned with all of this. Here's another thing that happened, and this is a little personal for me, but I just want you to see the kind of person that is writing the things and the intent that he has behind it. This was on our first reorg meeting in January 7th of 25. And previously, and if you don't know this, you know, I need to tell some personal details just so you could see how despicable it is. 2 weeks previously, on Christmas Eve, my brother-in-law passed away. My mother-in-law lived with him, and the same night fell and broke her wrist. Well, she was living with us at the time. And while I was at the board meeting, I needed to see if someone could step in and watch her the next day while I went to work. So I looked at my phone. So Cynthia Rock, who posted this, was sitting with Mr. Van Ginneken, posted this during the meeting, talked about how despicable it was that we weren't paying attention to the Student of the Month awards, and Mr. Van Ginneken even commented on how sad that was. Well, after they posted it, I went up to them. Someone told me that they had posted this, and I told them exactly what was going on, that there was a family crisis going on. But it didn't matter. Nothing was taken offline. In fact, I think Mr. Van Ginneken shared some of this himself on his own, maybe Facebook. When the lawyer did ask Mr. Van Ginneken to take down the Hardiston BOE or not use it, but it's his right to use it. It's free speech. He said, I'll sell you the domain. We said, no, we're not going to buy the domain because he'll just create another one that sounds like Hardiston BOE. The other thing that the lawyer required of Mr. Van Ginneken was to please post a disclaimer on the site. And this is what he did. He said, this notice is displayed at the explicit request of attorneys representing the Hardiston Board of Education who have generously spent taxpayer funds on legal services to ensure that you see this message, which he has an obligation to do anyway. And what he did was, it disappears after you see it the first time, but there is a watermark of a picture of Mrs. Carey in a costume that he portrays her as a clown, and he's done it before. Well, Mrs. Carey was in a popcorn costume volunteering for the PTA trunk or treat night. But this is how he portrays his disclaimer with Mrs. Carey on there. That's disgusting. Go ahead, you can smile all you want. And lastly, I'm going to bring this up because I don't see these things. Like I said, I don't go on social media, but somebody pointed this out to me. This is entitled Privilege Over Policy. Carrie and Barrett's friend reportedly receives quiet residency exception. The Hardiston Board of Education members Donna Carey and Jean Barrett are facing questions after reports surfaced suggesting a friend may have received special treatment regarding their child's residency status, all without a public vote, tuition arrangement, or explanation. What questions are surfacing, I wonder? Behind closed doors, according to individuals familiar with the matter, and I'd like those people familiar with the matter to come up to me afterwards and talk to me. A recent executive session may have included a discussion about a non-resident student. Unusually, the parent involved was reportedly present during that closed-door meeting, presumably to explain her situation directly to the board. While executive sessions are confidential, they are typically limited to board members and legal counsel unless otherwise authorized. Who's the individual familiar with the matter? You know what? That wasn't posted. The specifics wasn't posted in the agenda about that meeting. How did he know about that? And following the session, there was no public action, no vote, no announcement of a tuition agreement. However, the student in question appears to remain enrolled in Hardiston schools despite reportedly no longer residing in that district. Well, if you know what was going on and you know the procedure, the board lawyer was with us in that executive session. We did everything according to the board lawyer's instruction. We didn't need to come out and vote on anything after that session. And the decision was unanimous with the board. A question of access and influence. This particular parent has also been seen attending multiple board meetings and notably was observed sitting at the same table as Carrie and Barrett during a recent local political party meeting. Well, I've got news for you. Can you tell me what meeting that was? I haven't been to any political meetings in like 3 years. So tell me what meeting that was. Whether it was you, Dave, or the Hardiston community advocate, whoever that is, coward for not putting your name on this. And I never met that woman in question before the night in the executive meeting. That's the first and only time I've ever sat at a table with this person. No vote, no policy exception, no transparency. These circumstances raise serious concerns about transparency, consistency, and fairness. You know, by the comments that are in here, it tears down people's integrity. There's no way to answer these things. It creates questions about people that are unfair, that cannot stand up for themselves. It's basically a lie. This is definitely a lie. The whole thing is a lie. The views expressed in this article are based on publicly available information. I didn't know that somebody's personal situation with their home or their residence, their kids in school was public knowledge, unless there's gossip going on. And credible reports. Well, this is nothing but trash. The whole thing is trash, and anybody who listens to what this man and his friends, who are bullies, are putting online, they deserve to get what they're going to get. But I just hope that the decent people of Hardiston Township will see through that and know what the truth really is. I hope there are some decent people out there. Thank you. Oh, one more thing. Let me just say this before I end. Mrs. Carey, who he would like to portray as not qualified for being board president, this woman came as an immigrant to this country, educated herself to become an engineer, and just received her 11th, what is that? Her 11th patent for something that a machine that she invented. I'd say she's kind of qualified for being president of this school board. At least she has integrity. At least she has character. This woman, who I didn't know before I was on this board, is a kind and generous woman, forgiving, doesn't deserve the relentless attacks on her and her character. It's disgusting. She's a decent person. She's been good for this board. She has many suggestions, very creative suggestions for this board. She supports the staff, the teachers, the children, and their families. So I am sick of it. Thank you.
Can I say something? I'd like to second that. And I appreciate you for speaking up. And you did a hell of a good job. Better than I could do, maybe. And I want to ask a few questions. Donna, I know you for years. And you are a fabulous person, inside and out. And I know you're trying your best. It might not be perfect, but you're trying. And the rest of this board needs to stand up for each other.
Yeah,
On both sides, if they're getting slandered or beat up. Because we're all here to try to do the best thing for the children and for ourselves and the school and for the town. I appreciate the girls that are running, and more people should run for office. And I want them to do the best they can, and if they win, they win. But we should really try to go the opposite of telling you your positives and what you can think you can do, instead of trying to bash other people. Remember, this is a volunteer position. And I'm not in it for anything but to try to make it better for everybody. So I ask, I ask the people who are slandering certain people, is what is your really end goal? Because I think this board worked pretty well together, and we accomplished a lot of things in the last 3 years. And there's not anyone on this board that I would say, in my opinion, that is doing a bad job. I know you all personally. I got to meet you all for the last couple of years, and it's been a pleasure. Again, we should try to work together instead of trying to separate or throw things out there that is some sort of hidden agenda. And Jean, thank you for speaking up, and you will be missed. You will be missed, believe me. Thank you.
Oh, one more thing, just before anybody says anything online about why I'm not running for the board again, I have some health issues that I need to deal with, and I would not be able to give 100% to this board. So you have it from my mouth.
Anybody else?
I think that goes all ways. I've been on this board for 11 years, and I was talking to a former board member when I came on this board 11 years ago, who was a mentor and kind of Mr. Eddie Blaha, and served many years on this board. His name's up there too, of how this board has changed in my 11 years here. And I feel in my heart of hearts that we are all up here with our intentions and our good choices and our good philosophy in trying to do what is right. But to air everything out, we have to really realize and change the temper of all of our conversations online and how we respond and react to everyone online. I mean, it would make all of our jobs easier if there wasn't something called Hardison BOE, but it exists. However, there are people on this board that run sites that allow anonymous posts of children who are slandered, and that is not right. So we have sites called Hardison News and Events, which is administered by you, Ms. Carey.
Right.
It is also administered by a former board member and a current mayor who approves people to post and approves posts on there. So I feel in my heart of hearts, if we're addressing these things, it goes in general for everyone. I'm like Eugene. I post a random picture of my kid now and then. You know what I mean? Social media was created to bring us together, and unfortunately with algorithms and how it has worked, it has divided us. I have not seen any campaign speaking negatively. I've seen positive and offering. However, on both sides, you know what I mean? One particular where some people are posting things, calling out members and children under the veil of anonymity. If I can, you're
it's a
interrupting
pride.
me.
I want to say, because before you go too far with this accusation that you're making.
I'm not making an accusation, it's
You
a
are,
fact.
because
You run a site
I am
too.
an administrator of that site. It doesn't mean
But you
that
block
I
people on that
approve-
site. I'm blocked from that site, Donna.
Listen, I don't know anything about that, but.
But there's
the
only two
But
administrators.
there was nobody that had actually came to the administration of the site to make a complaint. And as soon as we've learned about it, the text, whatever it was removed immediately.
And what I'm saying,
Immediately.
I didn't interrupt Jean at all. I let you speak. I didn't interrupt. I was
But
hoping
what I
to
want
have
to
my
say
chance.
before you start
But we're
to
accusing other people.
insinuate that I would be endangering children.
No. It's a
or I'd be
platform.
allowing that to happen. It's
guess-
wrong, and I do not accept that.
So I
That's why
urge,
I'm
this is
actually
what I'm saying, like, you're the administrator who runs these online groups. You're one of them. And you have to carefully review, if you create a platform to allow members of the public to engage, you have the responsibility to carefully review and moderate these posts.
Right.
If you have a hand in what gets published, this goes for anybody, then you have a responsibility to ensure the tone of discourse remains respectful and constructive on the platforms that you oversee.
Absolutely. I agree with you 100%.
So if we're going to change the name of Hardison BOE, which I appreciate, and I would love it because it creates anonymity, and I'm getting accusations that I'm on the inside and not on the outside. And then, like, I've said this in emails to you all that, like, my family has been under attack, right? I was attacked by current board members too, who last time I run called me out from my job and said those are things that happened. And unfortunately, when I ran, I did not run for those positions. I ran for 4 times. We all need to temper it down.
Well, I'm not interrupting you, but I am. I guess I am.
You are.
I am.
But like everyone needs to temper it down.
I agree with you. But do you think that was right to go after your family?
No.
Either do I. And we're both on the same page.
And I
It should
agree.
stop.
But
That's what we're trying to get.
Going after me as an individual is one thing, Eddie. But going after my family or like things like that is an entirely different thing. And then under the veiled threat of veiled mask of anonymity, without even putting your name on there. If you're going to say something, put your name to it.
I
And
agree.
say it.
I agree.
And that is freedom of speech. And I'm saying these things, I'm not trying to and I just want to clarify, none of these pages are run by the Hardison Board of Education. None of them are. They're not run by the
I
Hardison
know,
Township
if
School
they are
District.
not. They're a private matter, and it's not even related to this board at all.
You know, look, disagreement is part of democracy, right? It should be, but we need to, and I feel like in this conversation over the last couple times, we should and we can debate policies, we can debate decisions, I'm sure there's going to be some of that tonight, and future directions of our schools, right? Our children are watching us. We are now being recorded multiple times. And I have always demonstrated in my belief of how we can engage in civil discourse and how we can have conversations on the issues, on the policies, on the matters, without debating the people.
That would be great.
I
Hey,
think
Nick,
you're doing a great job.
I would like to ask you, Nick, do you condemn the website that Mr. Van Ginnigan is running?
It's freedom. I just said it's freedom of speech. You're allowed to do it, but I don't appreciate. It makes our jobs harder of trying to do the direction of what we have to do. But everybody's entitled to say what they have to say.
Okay, thank you.
And I did, but I also condemn the actions of having a news agency such as called Hardison News or Hardison News of Events, which is
Hardison News of
used sometimes to post, if I can, which is used and administrated by board members and picks and chooses who can be in those groups.
As private citizens,
But it's called Hardison News and Events, and board members, board information is posted.
there is Hardiston
as-
parents,
as-
there is
as-
Hardiston, there's multiple
Right.
names out there with.
But like, you don't see a problem, you're
But do you-
posting in a private group as a Hardiston board president or as a board member, like you're making
I'm
these
not
statements.
posting, I am just administering, and at the time when that specific thing was posted,
I've seen the
I
screenshots,
wasn't
Donna,
there.
you have posted, like as
Yes.
board president, you know what I mean? That's where some of these comments come up.
But it's all positive, it's all reinforcement, it's all positive feedback.
And
It's
I-
not, it's, all my stuff is,
And Eddie, I agree with you. You know, we all sat here and we all started to run for our reasons, right? And we all saw it here, none of us are paid, been here a long time, right? I think I won 4 elections. And we're all unpaid volunteers who give our time here. We're not always going to agree on everything. That has been proven over the last few years, right? But our collective effort deserves respect. And I feel if me asking and speaking up about something that I disagree with, when I'm labeled as argumentative, or I'm labeled that I'm always not on side, or I just always just trying to be argumentative, that is, I'm
We need
allowed
that.
to. What?
We need that.
But then don't call me argumentative and don't stop the debate.
I understand. I agree.
Because that's what's been going on, Eddie.
No,
It's that like I'm allowed to speak my mind and I'm allowed to do it, and we're rushing through conversations and we're not having full-on opportunity for everyone to speak.
I think we have, and I think it's a learning process, and I agree with you.
And then like, I'm gonna end it this way, right? I wasn't planning on speaking, but like I had this prepared for a couple months, and I was waiting for the opportunity, but since you brought it up, I'll say it, right? I know by speaking up tonight, I'll probably become the subject of an online post or comment tomorrow. That's fine. I'm not here for the popularity. I'm here to serve. But I'm asking all of us to reflect and not react. Use social media for what it was meant to do, connect us, not divide us. Stop the blame, move away from the drama, and let's work together to build a stronger, more unified Hardiston. I call upon all of us, everybody on this board, rise above the noise, don't engage in a negative banter online, and focus on what's good, what's working, and what still needs our collective energy to improve. I also ask you to please all review the social media policy, because as much as we're saying some of us are not doing it and following it, I don't believe some of us are fully following the letter of the policy. All right? Let's do what we need to do and focus on the collective energy. Our children deserve it, the future of Hardiston deserves it, and our kids deserve nothing less. That's all I got.
I just have a question. Well, why do we need all these ancillary Facebook accounts? Why don't we just have the schools and the PTA? What?
Because it's Facebook, you can do whatever you want.
I enjoy
certainly-
it, it's my private,
certainly there is a
it's my
First Amendment,
private
you can
site,
do
and
what
I
you want.
enjoy it. I have multiple warnings on it, and,
So does the other side. And all I'm saying is, this is
Right.
divisive. Why don't we just have, the original thing? The school, we know what the school's supposed to be doing. The PTA, which is the parents' organization of the school.
well, there's also Hardiston Parents, there's Hardiston Wallkill,
All of
there
it
is
should
Wallkill
be,
News.
it's too much.
Right.
It's
Yeah,
too
but I don't
much,
think,
it's
I hear,
divisive.
Susan, I hear you, but I think the times changed where you're not, what,
Yeah,
you're gonna
well.
stop them all?
Yeah.
Granted, I'm old, but still.
I didn't say that, did I say
I
that?
know, no, you did not.
And
But
Nick,
I wouldn't mind if you did, because it's true.
Nick, I just want to say, I appreciate what you had to say.
Thank you.
And I've heard over and over again, rise above the noise, rise above it. But I felt like I needed to say something tonight because of what's being done on Mr. Van Ginniken's, whatever, his blog, then his social media post, is a disservice to the people that voted us in. It really is. They voted us in, they gave us their trust, and it's on a website that I'm sure would be blocked if we tried to, speak up about the other side of anything, okay? So that's what's being unfair.
Yeah, and I think that's what's going on the other side too. When people comment on some of the comments, they're
Yeah.
removed from the group and their comments are deleted, and it's not really freedom of speech, right? It's
Right.
just and I hate the concept too, and I don't like social media. And I don't like now that you have the opportunity on these groups that you can post anonymously. So some of these posts anonymously, it could have been, I'm not saying it was anybody on this board, I don't know who they were, but all that stuff is discoverable. So I just feel, in my heart of hearts, you have to be mindful and be careful when you're engaging in these things and allowing platforms to happen. You're potentially opening up not just the board, but yourself individually to some concerns for slander and libelous lawsuits. And in my heart of hearts, this is just be mindful of what you're doing. Yes, you're saying it's a private account, but you're not a private citizen, you're a board member. So any board member creates an account and you start posting things about board content. It is not a private account. You have to remember that we are board members. We are board members all the time. We are board members all the time. And not just at this table. So when you post something on there too, everything you post is you're speaking as a private citizen, and even if it's on your group and you're an administrator, but
Well, I'm sorry, I just want to tell you one thing. I mean, what do you think about spouses posting things that are against sitting board members, such as your spouse and your sister-in-law?
Oh, the alleged sister that people are posting that now we confirmed is real?
Yes, that's
Who I've known for 4
that's
years, which
actually
we're making comments that she's
coordinating most of the
alleged?
comments with Ms.
Right, and everyone's
Van
saying that I'm
Ginniken.
out because she's my wife and I'm making the comments. If you think I'm gonna tell my wife that she should say or not, have you ever met Meg? I'll be honest with you, she is entitled to it. She is not a board member. Do I engage on there? I have not made any negative comments about any board member online at all. Even though some people who are sitting on this dais right now have online, and I have the screenshots to show it. When I ran last time, it's disgusting. Every single time. I have not badmouthed anybody who ran last time online. I gave my opinions of who I did it, just like we're allowed to endorse our people who we want. But when I made my endorsement, I did not belittle anybody else. And I feel like if like what's good for the goose is good for the gander. So if we're gonna sit up here and we're gonna preach and we're gonna say that people should stop doing this, you have to think about what you've done and what you're gonna do next time too. Because it's going on and it's happening and it has happened by some individuals.
So
who are
I'm
sitting
gonna
on this
ask
board.
you one more time, because I've asked you in private, if you could ask your spouse and your sister-in-law
No.
to stop.
No. This is like, are you like, like freedom of speech is, she is not a board member, she is not a sitting there, everyone is entitled. You're asking me to silence my wife.
No, I'm just asking her to be
No,
kind.
that is
I'm
exactly
asking
what
her
you're
be
asking me to
kind,
do.
To ask me, to not to ask me
Miss
to
Carey,
resign.
no, because last time something happened, spouse, like you accused me of doing something even though that she did it, and then that became a snafu for 2 months, or 2 years, and took away probably 5 years of my life because you couldn't have a conversation with me. So like, I'm sorry, but like, if you're gonna relate to that, that's like, everyone's entitled to their opinions on there too, but she is not sitting on the dais right now, me and you are, right? But like, again, reflect on what you're doing, read the policy, and I think it goes for everybody. That's all I want to say.
Well, I think did someone say? Oh,
Go ahead, Ed, go ahead.
I believe you.
Thank you, Eddie.
In the words of not silencing your wife. Okay, so I think it's hard to believe, right? But I do. That's her opinion, and you're staying out of it. And I truly believe that. I could be fooled, but I do believe that. So, therefore, we got to deal with it. She's allowed to do it. Let her do what she wants. It has nothing that represents you. Correct?
My beliefs are my beliefs, Eddie.
No.
Everybody
In other
has
words, if
entitlement.
my wife was ranting on about something, that's my wife. It's not me. And she's allowed to do it.
Are we implying that I'm Meg Demsack on Facebook? Or I'm Sharon Crowley on Facebook?
Well, that's what I'm getting at.
That's what people are implying.
And it shouldn't be.
But that's what people
Correct?
are implying. What? It is not true.
Right. So that's all I'm saying.
Yeah, and I'm sorry that
It's hard to
Meg, if you're
believe.
watching at home that your names come up a lot, but
No,
I
but
didn't bring you up.
it's hard to believe. It's hard to believe,
Well,
but I do.
would like to meet with your spouse.
Then reach out
And
to her.
I did. I tried.
Like-
I'm
like- but like-
trying to meet. I'm
I don't know, you're not Mr. Roselli. This is called for, you're bringing, we're asking these questions at this
Well, we're
dais.
trying to mend
Come
things
on.
and work together.
We
I'm
are trying to. It's good that we
But
talk.
asking that question publicly at a dais at a board meeting, that's called for, about asking, do you think that that's called for at this conversation publicly, Eddie?
I don't know
What she
what's
just
the
asked me to
question.
do,
What to stop
I'm
the...
asking
asking me to silence my wife.
No, I didn't
Yes,
say
you
that.
did. You were phrasing it differently, but that's what you asked me to
I am asking if
do.
you could speak with her so we can have a
That's-
dialogue and
oh
we
my
can
God.
work together, because I'm trying to reach out to you and to
I am-
her, and I'm trying to make.
If you're
things
trying to get
better.
me to quit, you're working, because
No.
this is not why I'm here. I'm sorry. 12 years we have gone down, and I'm not gonna curse, but I am disgusted that we are sitting here having this conversation that has nothing to do with children.
You know what? You're 90% right, but it does. Because it's wrong, and we shouldn't be doing it.
How is this conversation have anything to do with what's on the agenda tonight, Eddie?
Because it's screwing the whole thing up.
It's not, it's hurting people's feelings.
It's stopping us from working on the agenda. We're trying to eliminate it. We're trying to eliminate it. Go ahead, Brian, please.
I am embarrassed by what has just been transpired. Before I go any farther, Gene, I commend you for your courage and your statement, and I'm glad we all gave you the time to share those thoughts, and I commend you, and I feel badly on a personal level that all of this has happened. From a board perspective, I'm embarrassed for us, although you can say this is good public civil discourse. We are starting a new school year. We are coming off a year where our elementary school was the top in the county. Finally, even though it's not hot, we have air conditioning in the elementary school, which we've talked about for years. Finally, we don't even need it.
This time.
We have one of the top technology STEM teachers in the state here tonight, and 40 minutes ago, she stood up in front of all of us talking about the culture and the family and how grateful she is to work in this district.
and and knowing her professionally and knowing her through my own children, the award she's received and what she's earned is one of the top STEM accolades in the entire state, and she followed that by saying what a precious joy it is to work here. And we spent many months talking about surveys and culture and getting a sense of how the staff feels about things. And look at what we're doing. So much of which is rooted in what is being said on social media, most of which everybody's talking about. I don't know, but the only thing I need to know how to do the only thing I know how to do on Facebook is post my kids' toys that I no longer want. Beyond that, I don't know anything else. So I'm embarrassed for us. I hope there's a way, Donna, when you mentioned before, and again, working together, congratulated colleagues up here when they won elections, congratulated Donna when she won board president earlier this year. But we can't say that these are not board matters when we're almost an hour into the meeting and this has consumed the whole thing. So I'm embarrassed, I'm frustrated by this. I really hope we can find a way to keep our focus on what we should be up here doing. It would make all of our lives a lot easier, yes, if the public rhetoric was toned down, but unfortunately, and my time may come with this too at some point, that as publicly elected officials, not that it's right and not that I agree, but unfortunately these are things that we and most other publicly elected officials have to deal with. It's just very, very frustrating to me that in this relatively small but very high-performing district, my colleagues up here are facing some of this scrutiny and criticism, and by virtue of that, our meetings and what we should be talking about is totally distracted by what is taking place and what is being said by people out there. So, as you said, I hope we're able to find a way to stay on track and keep our discussion focused. And unfortunately, these things have become a board matter, and I just hope we're able to or find our way away from here. I love Student of the Month, I really do. And I know this is being videotaped, and as people have said, this could be twisted tomorrow in tomorrow's news. But tonight, I am actually very grateful there's not another 70 or 80 people sitting here listening to this, and that there's no student recognition yet on day 4 of the school year, as we sit in a room of teachers who are just trying to get rolling with the school year, and to the superintendent to my left, who has a very important, busy job, and again, is listening to us squabble. So, thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Let's move on to NB1.
We're making a motion to approve the following resolution, called the Hardiston Township School District Resolution Number 2025-01. The parental opt-out for lessons and curricular materials supposedly adopted September 9th. Whereas the Hardiston Township School District is committed to respecting parental rights under the First Amendment, and whereas the U.S. Supreme Court ruling in Mahmoud versus Taylor, June 27th, 2025, affirms parents' rights to opt their children out of lessons and curricular materials involving LGBTQ and themed content which conflict with their beliefs. Now therefore be it resolved, number 1, notification. The district shall notify parents and guardians at least 1 week in advance of lessons or curricular materials in subjects such as English language arts, social studies, math, or health that include LGBTQ-themed content, lessons on diverse family structure, or historical discussions of LGBTQ rights. Notification will detail the material, its educational purpose, and the schedule use dates. Number 2, opt out. Parents and guardians may opt their children out of such lessons on materials by submitting a written request via a standardized form on the district's website at least 2 school days prior. Opt-out students will engage in alternative assignments aligned with some of the same academic standards. Number 3, implementation. The superintendent shall develop guidelines, including notification templates, opt-out forms, and alternative lesson plans. And number 4, interim compliance. Until guidelines are finalized, opt-out requests for lessons or materials will be honored promptly per the court's injunction.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Could we have a roll call?
Cool,
Is there any
we have a
discussion
discussion,
on
thank you.
Go
Thank you.
ahead.
Just backing this up a second, or not a second, backing this up probably for a couple minutes. Donna, can you just elaborate on the origin of this? We did not have a curriculum committee meeting this month. This is obviously curriculum-based. Not that I actually don't disagree with the opt-out, but I did ask, share an email to you and Jean and Mike earlier today, just asking a little bit about that, asking Mike for some historical perspective on how opt-outs have been used or not used here in the past. But could you just clarify the origin of this, how this transpired in the committee meeting last week, where this came from, why tonight? And also, just, you mentioned before too, I was opening it as you mentioned it, about the rationale for splitting 17A and B. I read the policy. I'm just curious, just to have a little bit of a better understanding, because we didn't have a curriculum committee meeting last week, and we have talked about this, the opt-out clause and where it's found on the district website for years, even going back 3 or 4 years to the original discussion where we had the summer meeting here about how some of those instructional materials would be shared with our students. That was a much more extensive dialogue over many months. We got the first notification about this from Mike on Saturday, and it's Tuesday night. So I'm just looking for some perspective on how we got here.
If I could just answer.
Please, yeah, anybody, yeah.
Ryan. Okay, that'd be great. There was a policy dump, and you were talking about splitting, I don't have the number of the
A and B,
policy.
17.
14, A and B, okay? So being that the policy came up, and we will be discussing the policies, it's the first reading of these policies, it was mentioned to Mr. Roselli, not to the entire board, but the fact that because those policies are coming up now for approval or to pass them, that we needed to make sure that communication with parents about their right to opt out via the Supreme Court decision, 6-3 decision, was just a notification to them. You know, it's a law. It's not anything that we have to alter, and so we're just giving them a notification and just a simple opt-out.
Do we have to do a policy to do that, or sorry, a resolution? Because that seems like an administrative directive. Because correct me if I'm wrong, I'm not opposed to opting out too, and I support parental rights too. I got 4 kids, but Mike, opting out has existed for how long? Forever. Right. So like, it's not new. It's not new at all. What? So if I want to opt out my kid to, I don't know, I don't want them to read The Outsiders because of the themes of the socks and the greasers, like I could do that. Like that exists. So this policy has been like, so it's an administrative prerogative. We already have this in process.
Right.
And like, that's like, so I guess it goes to the point of like this. I was at the finance committee. I know there was a policy meeting right after it. I stepped out because Ron showed, and I was waiting to see if you had a quorum or whatever, and you were good. And I just saw the list of policies that were there. And from my understanding, that policy 2432 or 22, whatever, just the only thing that changed really is core curriculum content standards to New Jersey student learning standards, and they changed the name of it from comprehensive health education to what it says now. So we've already had this policy. Nothing else has changed. 17's been there forever, right? So
Mike, has the way it's handled changed?
Wait, what? Has that-
The opt-out policy, which we have had forever.
Well, here, I'm going to read my response.
No, please do. I just wanted to make sure that I emailed you and Donna and Jean. I just wanted to make sure, because we haven't talked about this and we didn't meet in curriculum last week, that everybody can hear
No.
this
We
response.
do have an
It was in
opt-out, and we've
policy.
had it for a while, but I
Yeah.
think this is
This-
curriculum
No,
specific.
listen to Mike,
If,
okay? Let's listen to
So
Mike.
Mr. Drellick asked earlier today, for clarity, parents have had the ability to opt out, is that true? You know, or something like that. And my response was, you are correct. Parents have always had the ability to opt out of certain topics, most commonly in health education. What makes the recent Supreme Court decision different is that the court extended opt-out rights beyond the health curriculum, specifically where parents can demonstrate a religious conflict. This is relatively new legal ground, and schools across the country have to assess what that means in practice. For our district, it is essentially a non-issue at present. We do not have any LGBTQ specific curriculum for parents to opt out of, and in the area where opt-outs have historically applied, health, we have not had any such requests in several years. So that's the state of where we are.
And that's
Which
kind of
is-
like my
which is-
follow-up.
Thank you, Mike.
That's like my follow-up with that too, like this resolution itself, right? Who wrote it?
I did,
So did Joe review the resolution?
yes.
Because I've never seen a resolution what usually
I
says
know,
like.
I mean, some of the language could be taken out, but basically it's to balance of the policies that are coming through with a history of disabled LGBTQ persons, required instruction on political, economic, social contributions of persons with disability, lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender people for students. And basically, it's part of this policy. So.
It's been part of the
that's a-
policy.
Yeah, but the resolution is to inform people that certain laws were passed at the highest level of Supreme Court, and that parents have the ability to opt out as if it comes up.
As existed, like they've always had the chance.
But they
This
don't know
policy
about
I'm
it.
just, the reason why I say this, and Don, I'm just quite, like, you know, this is,
I'm
your
just
board, as
asking.
board president, right? We've been on the board for many years, right? This is the first time in my 11 years where a resolution that gets put on the full board for the full board to review.
No, this is a
No,
second
hold
one.
on. We usually discuss these in committees and have this conversation amongst every committee before it goes on there. I usually hear from the leadership, either vice president, president, in regards to what the resolution is and what the process is and the rationale of why. I found out, thankfully, I read the weekly update and saw what Mike put in there, and there was no background of it. So, like, my concern is that we usually have these conversations about resolutions prior to it being on the agenda, and having it there so we can have conversations in regards to it, and finding out,
Well, we're
like,
having a
on Saturday that it's going on
conversation.
Tuesday.
I'm just curious what kind of conversation going back and forth we would have, because because this is law. There's no question. There's no.
Right, so we're just
our
providing
opinion,
further guidelines for the law, and like providing further,
notifying parents.
so the law is the law, right?
The law is
Mama
the
Mover's
law,
Taylor, and we just
yes.
have to follow, and we're just feeling that we need to give more guidance and direction to
Yes.
ensure that the law is followed correctly, right?
Absolutely.
Similar to other policies that we just got rid of because they're guidelines, and we don't want to have
It's not supposed
those.
to be a gotcha question. It's
Let's
basically
just
just to
be real
inform
sure,
parents about it.
Let's be real sure that we're talking about A and B, because
Right.
they're very different.
Yes, we did split that up in the first
I know,
meeting.
but do people know what that means?
No,
That we're changing, we're
I am
removing.
not referencing anything in this resolution to
Yeah, but we
A
should-
or B.
It's not part of the discussion.
Well, we discussed it.
That's like the policy, this was just the resolution, the policy is 17ABs, I guess
Yeah.
later on in the agenda. I mean, you can have that conversation later, of like, what was the rationale for dividing in half when it's been in existence?
Maybe Sue, you had brought that up.
Yes.
A while.
Yeah.
Because the whole issue of disabilities being on the same issue as LGBTQ
Yeah.
is
It shouldn't be.
not appropriate.
Yes.
Let's just put it that way.
Right.
I mean, there's no reason why parents should opt out of learning about Franklin Roosevelt or Winston Churchill or,
Absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah,
you know,
we
But-
agree.
but-
Helen
parents-
Keller or,
Right.
you know, so that's just ridiculous. So let's move to what's going on with,
Right. I think parents should know about this subject. It's basically sexual orientation. That's what we're talking about here. Parents should be allowed to opt their students out if the topics are being discussed in school, and this form gives you the vehicle to do that.
Mm.
It gives you informational
So I have a question for Dr. Ryder as our superintendent then, to reference that then, Mike, can you confirm or deny or anything there? Do we have lessons, curriculum materials, and subjects such as English, language arts, social studies, math, or
I
health?
just said no.
Right, so like, this is just,
We don't have them right now, but we could have them in 2 months or 3 months. We
is that
don't know
planned,
what's
Mike? We're
coming
gonna
up.
develop them?
No, it is not planned.
That's what, okay, I just want to clarify that.
When we had a
Yeah,
conversation,
with that said, it's not planned, and I think we're fortunate where we live, it's not happening. But can we all agree that it does happen in other places?
What?
I don't know what you're just referencing, Eddie. I
Well,
don't
then,
think,
lesson
What you
plans.
just asked him the question. The
The
question you just
lesson
asked,
plans
the
are
lesson
implemented.
plans, I think we're naive to a point, because luckily it's not happening here.
right, because this is a K-8 district, this isn't high school, and a lot of these contents and their curricular standards really are probably covered at a high school-like basis.
But, I mean, I don't even watch the news much, but doesn't it happen in other places? Haven't we heard about it?
Doesn't what happen, Ed? Not following. Doesn't what happen? What
Apparently-
doesn't happen?
Apparently happened in, I don't know what state that was in. Mom moved to versus Taylor, you know what I mean? So
Delaware.
Delaware. So that's a Supreme Court case, that's what I'm saying. It happened in that state, you know what I mean?
Right, I guess it's just a point of where we can eliminate it from happening.
Well, like, we're not.
Like, I
bringing it
trusted
back,
Mr. Ryder too, it's not happening here, luckily.
It's not even if it did happen, the existence is that it has been there that we allow opting out. I said, I'm going to vote yes on it. I'm not there in support. I'm just questioning the whole rationale of how it got there so quickly. There was no conversation, discussion. That policy doesn't even go in place because it's a second reading, right? It's a revision.
first.
I know, but I'm saying it doesn't go in effect until the second reading. So, like, it goes to the whole point of, like, we just put something on the agenda on a Saturday, which is pretty significant. You know what I mean? Like, we don't have a resolution like this.
But
Well,
isn't
we
this
bring
the
everybody
time
to
for
the table.
discussion? Isn't this the time for discussion about it?
We are discussing
Yeah, but
it.
like, you're fantastic, but you also have committee structure meetings, and you have a curriculum committee, which did not talk about a motion that really deals with curriculum. And that,
Is it
according to our
curriculum or
board,
is it a policy to
No.
opt out?
lessons or curricular materials, Gene, that's curriculum.
Right, yeah.
So like, this
I
is
get
curriculum
that.
focused,
But
this should have been in the
we're
curriculum
talking
committee.
We're talking more about just an opt-out policy that goes along with the law that allows parents to opt out.
I'm talking
That's
about the
all we're
structure.
talking about.
And like, no, I'm talking about the structure of how you got this on the agenda without even, you canceled the curriculum meeting.
I
And,
No.
well,
Mike
it was
just-
canceled, I'll put it that
Yes.
way.
It was
And then now we have a motion that's on the agenda that has to do with curriculum, where the members, I'm not on the curriculum committee, I'm sure, fine, but like, other people are, who work with curriculum and understand this, who could have probably given you more input and maybe made the policy better.
But don't you think it's better, instead of bringing it up just in curriculum committee, that when this is brought up for a first reading and we say, is there any discussion? We're discussing it
And-
amongst all the committees.
Absolutely, that's what I
Right.
just said, we do, that's how it's always
But
done.
we don't have
And that's what we're
resolutions
This
doing.
for
resolution,
approval.
no, this would have been done
No,
in
this
every
is,
curriculum.
we don't have a resolution for, I'm on the curriculum committee, and I was 3 or 4 years ago when we spent months discussing this topic, and Dr. Ryder and Mrs. Smagley and everybody else hosted a very well-attended event where actual materials were presented and shown to parents. It was very, very vetted and talked about in committee and in public over the course of many months. So my question was sincerely, from Saturday at 8 or whatever time it was that we got this email to Tuesday night at 8:15. I just wanted to know the origin of where this came from and why it's a resolution on a curricular issue tonight, during a month where there was no curriculum committee meeting to discuss it, when this is a topic that we have discussed. We just talked about opt-outs in the curriculum earlier, maybe late spring or early this summer, and we asked Dr. Ryder those questions, and he mentioned how it just doesn't, the opt-outs, there's no real history of opt-outs here. So that, I just wanted to know how this evolved over the course of the past couple of days. And I know I asked just a couple of you today, but I did want to ask when everybody was
It's kind
here.
of ongoing for the past 2 months or so. I mean, I don't know.
Can I
Yeah, please,
I'm gonna
please,
help.
please, yep,
So in policy, which I'm a member of,
okay.
this came up in policy. So I'm reading 2422, and I'm reading, item number 2, and that was the first thing I objected to. It says breast self-examination requires offering instruction on breast self-examination for students in grades 7 through 12, which I guess that's for cancer awareness, which is an item 3, but somehow it was broken out. So I was like, wait a minute, do we have somebody teach young girls how to do self-breast examinations? They said, no, we don't have that. So I said, okay, so maybe that might be something we want to opt out. And then I got down to number 17, and it said history of disabled and LGBTQ, right? So it lumped 2 different groups together, and I said, well, that doesn't make sense, because as a Roman Catholic, if I have kids, which, you know, we all know I don't, but I wouldn't want my kids to learn about this in school, because my priest is telling me this is not something to learn. So I said, but you could be accused of anti-disabled learning because you're saying you're opting out of 17, which is LGBT and the disabled. So me and Sue agreed that they should be separated, so if you want to opt out of LGBT, it doesn't penalize somebody learning about the history of disabled and all of those laws. So that's how it came up, because it was in the committee that I'm on, which is policy. So it never came up in curriculum because it was a policy. And then we said, okay, let's have an opt-out resolution so the parents would know, hey, this breast self-examination lesson may not be something that a parent wants their 7th grader to be subject to, either an educator or a nurse or a doctor in the school. They maybe want to go to bring their child to a gynecologist when it's time to have that serious medical examination, when it's time for women to have that. So we lumped that with 17, we broke it apart. And so that's how that originated, Brian.
All exactly true, except the resolution was not brought up in committee. That's all.
Okay, it came back.
So that's what I'm saying. It's just
So
like, so in the
I
conversation,
had a conversation with Mr. Ryder about it, and I was saying to him that, you know, we're putting these policies through, but to allow parents, give parents a voice, and having this particular law just passed, what is the vehicle and how do we actually inform parents about it? So this is the way we do it. We've done the sex opt-out form, and that's currently on our website. And it's wonderful that nobody's using it, and it's wonderful that we don't have to use it, but it's there as an option. It also shows that we are open-minded, we are actually welcoming parents to make some of these decisions, and we're not, there is no no hidden agendas here, and this is out there for people to see. Oh wow, like if this ever comes up, maybe I'll consider it, but it may never come up, which is also great. But this just offsets and balances both sides.
I have something, right? Dr. Ryder, go ahead.
I'll do
Yep, no, go ahead.
2 seconds. I don't think anybody here is saying parents don't deserve any right to opt out, right? I don't think that's the question. I think the only question between Brian and Nick is, gee, where did this come from? It feels like the last minute. And I think historically, other veteran board members are saying, typically this comes as one of the board rules, no surprises. So
Yeah.
I think that's only where it's coming from.
And I want to piggyback on what you said, this is a recommended policy to amend that policy of the first reading. It came probably from Strauss Esme, and you said it, Gene referenced it as the policy done. If there were that many questions, which we've done in the past when I was on the committee, we didn't put it on the agenda. And in that conversation that you were having in that committee, where it did transcend probably into curricular topics, it could have been pulled out and not put on the agenda, and then the conversation could have continued. And this is kind of an example of what I'm saying, is that we're reacting and not responding. We're putting something so quick on the agenda without really talking about it in committee, and that happens a lot, and I respect that. Like finance things, sometimes policy things come up and things like that. But I wasn't at the meeting, but I read the minutes and I saw that a lot of questions did come up for it seemed like that particular policy. Like in the past when I've been there, all right, we're not putting that one on the agenda yet. We're going to take our time. We're going to look at it. We're going to send it to the curriculum committee. Those are things that I've experienced in the past and that we've done, rather than we're like trying to react real quickly to it. And the whole point is that make the process better. And I think it's like, I would have probably asked Mike, like, there's probably some of these forms that you have that you could have shared with us. What do these forms look like, Dr. Ryder? Like, can you share us how you're going to communicate these things? All these things are vetted out in those conversations, rather than now we're like, shoot from the hip and go, and then now it's not fully vetted by the full board. And the last thing I just want to say is, when we have done it, and you've done it with you being present probably too, of like, when these conversations, a resolution of this nature, something like that, we talk about it in every committee, because it could impact finance, it could impact curriculum, it definitely impacts policy. So, and then when it gets on the agenda, we're not fleshing it out right there. I've already had an opportunity to get my points across. You know what I mean? So it's just like, and that's how a board by committee works, is that we do a lot of the hard work is done in those committees. So then when we have these conversations, we're just moving forward. So,
Well, if this is the first reading of the policy that we're talking about, and we're bringing up this resolution and offering people an opportunity to discuss this, it shouldn't be a hard thing, being that we already have an opt-out. You want to just add this wording to the one we have already? I'm willing to do that. But what Donna brought up was, being that we have, and we're going to go through a first reading of this policy that might be an issue with some families, I thought it's an appropriate time to bring up something to notify the parents.
right.
And this is just come up at the end of the summer. The Supreme Court has just made this decision. And so it's the beginning of the school year. We're talking about the policy. It seemed appropriate to me to put the resolution.
So I'm just going to clarify that the Supreme Court's had to do with LGBTQ, but the concept of opting out has existed forever. And
Not from the curriculum, not from that particular topic.
Yes.
it's, no, if I'm not happy with a content or something in there, and I can say it because it's, Tony, like it's religion or whatever else like that, I have the right to do that. And just like I have the right to opt my child out of public education and homeschool them. You know what I mean? So there's different things that these are things that have existed. So like, I'm just like, all I ask is, like, to Mike's point, like, surprises. I was surprised when I saw this, and I didn't hear from.
Could we say is really not the subject matter, it's more of the process of how we're handling it?
Again, things
Am I kind of accurate?
not being pulled to the table, not being like brought up and being communicated with, like, and then finding things out after the fact. And if it
Yes
was,
or no
and
question?
also, yes, I agree with you, but it's also the concept of rushing through things.
Well, that's what I mean, it's the process.
It seems rushed.
I just
We're
want to
kind of,
clarify.
we're all agreeing kind of on it, except it's just a way to maybe
Yeah,
what
it's
about
like,
it.
I'm
Like,
offering these to
So
get
I
better.
what
apologize
is-
if you feel rushed.
I want to clarify that the policy 2422 is different than this resolution.
Yeah.
We're talking about two different things, right? 2422, the only thing edited in committee was to separate 17 into 17A and 17B. That's it. So the first reading on policy 2422 is the highlighted part that's linked, which separates that. That's it.
And I guess, and all I'm saying, that policy's been in existence since when they did the comprehensive health education thing back
Right.
when
Right.
Brian was saying about the opt-out. It's not brand new. It's just, I want to clarify that, it's
Right,
revised.
but forgive me for not knowing the specific language on the opt-out that we have right now, but is it language specific? Is it going to include this? And is there a mention of, because this is something different, this is not the sex ed curriculum, is there something there that will notify the parents, because we're bringing something else in to the curriculum? So, it deserves
Well, the
a
question
place.
was,
What's
gee,
brought
is
into
it,
the
What's being brought
I'm
into?
sorry?
What's brought into the curriculum?
Again, I apologize if the opt-out form that we have
So-
online is language specific to the sex ed
It's only for
curriculum,
sex ed,
then this needs to be added in.
It's not language specific.
well, this is a
Sex ed.
separate for the educational aspect of it, for lessons, for lesson plans. And the parents don't know a particular lesson is coming up. How are they going to opt out from
Yeah,
it?
Yeah.
this includes a notification that there may be controversial subject for you, you may want to opt out. And that's what, just like I had brought up the self-breast examination lesson. I mean, you want that, but you may not want it done in a school without the parent being present, so.
Right, and
Give
you-
the parent the option of going to the doctor.
It says 7 through 12, right? So it might not-
7th grade through 12th.
Right, so that might not even happen to the point I think you asked Mike, doesn't even happen.
Yeah, it doesn't happen, but if it came up in policy and we have to address it, then well, let's address that, hey, parents, by the way, the policy came up where there's, not only cancer education, but it broke out breast self-examination. It didn't break out testicular cancer examination, and it didn't do prostate for the boys, it just broke out breast. And I was like, why would they just break out just breast examination and just ignore the health of the boy? So I thought that was unusual. I don't know who in Trenton was thinking of this, but it didn't make sense to me. If you're going to include all sex organs, do the boys' sex organs too, maybe when they have a doctor come in and a nurse, and they do, separate sexes, just like you do, I guess, with sex ed in high school,
They
you separate
do
them.
that, because similar, not that the sex education is taught, but
Yeah, but
not
here
to
is
the
like,
level of what you're saying
this
with
is like a
prostate
cancer,
where it
this is a cancer screening of
Right.
sexual parts, right? So, and it only broke out the girls' breasts, and, maybe you want to do,
Yeah.
the other girl.
I'm fine, I just got my, I'm not, I don't.
Yeah, so that's why we said, okay, let's have a language where the opt-out tells the parent, hey, something's
Yeah,
coming up
I'm-
you may object to, rather than the kid coming home, mommy, the doctor touched me, or whatever the hell is going on.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
I don't even know how to address that, but.
Yeah, I'm just saying, as a man thinking.
All right, Tony,
okay,
you're
so
good,
it's
Tony,
great
you're
to
good.
go and get
I am,
exactly-
I'm,
Shut his microphone off.
All right, thank you.
Is there an objection to going forward with this motion?
For the resolution?
Yeah.
No,
Okay.
we've had opt-outs for years. My authentic question was, why resolution, why tonight, and just a background how we got here was in essence what I wanted to know, because when we discussed this 3 years ago, like I said, this was months, this was public, this was committee meetings. We had an opt-out, we talked about all this stuff for months and years already, so I was just curious why this all evolved so quickly tonight off of a policy that is still only in its first reading.
Well,
That was my question.
We have a resolution. The curriculum part of it will come in later, and that's when we actually have already a tool to opt out if parents want to opt out. So we're getting ahead of the game of actually this coming through, and I think it's a good thing. So
But we're approving a resolution tonight, so the game is right now.
Yeah,
And
right.
some of the stuff here about,
It's the process, right?
no, I just wanted to know.
No, I'm asking, right, Brian,
Yeah,
I really
no,
argue. It's that
exactly.
process is where is the mistake. It's just, that's what,
I apologize.
instead of it taken as they were going against anybody, it's the process is what they're questioning, correct?
Yeah, and I just feel like Mike now is
Right.
getting directives.
Yes.
If you pass this, then you gave Mike directives in there that he has to.
So I asked the curriculum committee to follow up on this, because now you have directed the superintendent of schools to create a lot of these things, which some of them probably are created, and just talk about them and share them there and be able to divulge on that at a future curriculum committee.
Correct, and just some of these other things about alternative lesson plans on behalf of the staff. It's day 5 of school, and we're talking about this, so.
Yeah, because it's just like the forms, the whole process, now you've directed Mike to do that by this
That's a good
resolution.
idea, thank you. So
Mike, excuse me, how does the current opt-out policy differ from this opt-out policy?
There's no
I think
notification.
I think the only thing that has, changed since the Supreme Court is that this topic is now included in that area that where it once was sex, health, education, and so forth.
And I just want to clarify, like, as a person with kids in it, that when they do those health topics, which doesn't happen all the time, like, we are duly notified that this is going on, and we have options to opt out, and it says that in the communication. I think I've
And so
experienced
the
that
parents
with
already know
with 2 of my older
that.
children. I've experienced that
But
because
this
they
was-
only do it in certain grades. I know with the puberty topic, I guess.
But these topics were also included in other classes, history classes, social studies classes. So it's not just, we're not just talking about health, we're not just
Yeah.
talking about sex ed. So just to have the parents understand that there is this add-on, like, thank you, Dr. Ryder, for saying that, I think it's our due diligence to the parents to have them understand that we're going beyond the sex ed curriculum that we've already had an opt-out for, but now this topic might be carried into other subjects at school. And that the teachers need to know that parents, if they have an opt-out, should be notified of this. And I'm glad that we don't have it going on right now. It's
No,
not an
yeah.
issue, it's not, you know, but being that the policy was coming up, and sorry about the process being, you know, jumping ahead. If anybody has any objections, let's object. But, you know, it's a simple resolution, and how Mr. Ryder is going to be, you know, thinking this through. It's going to be difficult, I understand that, notifying the parents of things like this, but, you know, I appreciate being able to talk through the process, Brian, in curriculum. Let's talk it out.
Okay, thank you. Can I make a motion to approve this resolution? Can I have a second?
Second.
Roll call?
Mr. Alfano?
Yes?
Mrs. Barrett?
Yes.
Mrs. Carey?
Yes.
Mr. Dempsey?
Yes.
Mr. Drellick?
Yes.
Mr. Hoffman's absent. Mrs. Lucarelli?
Yes.
Ms. Marata?
Yes.
Mr. Riley?
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay. Meeting minutes. Motion to approve August 12th regular meeting and annual retreat. Can I have a second?
Second?
Second.
Roll call?
Mr. Alfano?
Yes?
Mrs. Barrett?
Yes.
Mrs. Carey?
Yes.
Mr. Dempsey?
Yes.
Mr. Drellick?
Yes.
Mr. Hoffman? Mrs. Lucarelli?
Yes.
Ms. Marata?
Yes.
Mr. Riley?
Yes.
HIB report?
There is no current HIB report.
Thank you. Finance, Mr. Alfano.
Motion to approve F1 through F5.
Second?
Discussion? Call it.
Mr. Alfano?
Yes.
Mrs. Barrett?
Yes.
Mrs. Carey?
Yes.
Mr. Dempsey?
Yes.
Mr. Drellick?
Yes.
Mr. Hoffman? Mrs. Lucarelli?
Yes.
Ms. Marata?
Yes.
Mr. Riley?
Yes.
Okay, personnel, motion to approve.
you-
Oh,
yeah.
I'm sorry. Facilities?
Motion to approve FO 1 and 2.
Second.
Discussion? Call it.
Mr. Alfano?
Yes?
Mrs. Barrett?
Yes.
Mrs. Carey?
Yes.
Mr. Dempsey?
Yes.
Mr. Drellick?
Yes.
Mr. Hoffman? Mrs. Lucarelli?
Yes.
Ms. Marata?
Yes.
Mr. Riley?
Yes.
Okay, personnel. There's nothing for curriculum. We're moving to personnel. A motion to approve P1 to P17.
Second.
There was an addition. Is it on it?
It's on there.
Okay, thank you.
I
Any
just want to say,
questions?
I just want to, a P8, welcome back, Ms. Zink. It's like the gift that keeps on giving.
Roll call?
Mr. Alfano?
Yes.
Mrs. Barrett?
Yes.
Mrs. Carey?
Yes.
Mr. Dempsey?
Yes.
Mr. Drellick?
Yes.
Mr. Hoffman? Mrs. Lucarelli?
Yes.
Ms. Marata?
Yes.
Mr. Riley?
Yes.
Okay, for policy, motion to approve POL 1. First reading of the following policies. Can I have a second?
I have a question.
You do a second first.
Second. Now you can ask a question.
Okay.
You have to wait till a second.
Right.
then you ask
Oh,
your-
sorry.
Now ask your question. Sorry.
All right, I have a question now. 2422P, is that just a mandatory policy that we're approving?
Yes.
Okay.
Do you, can I ask just a comment for like, because it is a big policy dump, and I know, I tried my best to review all of them, this first reading, I'll read the second half later on, I'm okay moving forward, but I know when we get a policy dump from Strauss Esme, they always send an alert, and the alert gives us the major highlights of the policies.
Yes.
As chair, I used to always send that to everybody to review, and I just asked if you could, just in the future, right, because it's a big one, you know what I mean, like,
Actually, we can give that
Because it's just usually an email you can forward it on to us, because that's what leads to this, so like,
If
I
it's
mean,
not there, then I'll
if you
send
can add it to the folder or whatever like
Okay.
that, because that definitely makes things easier, because it gives you a rundown of
Yes.
the major changes, you know what I mean, rather than having to read through the strike-throughs and the bold and the add-ons as well. I appreciate it, thank you.
Anybody else? Roll call?
Mr. Alfano?
Yes.
Mrs. Barrett?
Yes, except for 2422P.
Thank you. Mrs. Carey?
Yes, but I will abstain from the same policy.
Thank you. Mr. Demsack?
Yes.
Mr. Drellick?
Yes.
Mr. Hoffman? Mrs. Lucarelli?
Yes.
Ms. Marata?
Yes.
Mr. Riley?
Yes.
Okay, motion to abolish the following policy.
So motion?
Second? Can I have a second?
Second.
Sorry.
Any questions? Roll call?
Mr. Alfano?
Yes.
Mrs. Barrett?
Yes.
Mrs. Carey?
Yes.
Mr. Demsack?
Yes.
Mr. Drellick?
Yes.
Mr. Hoffman? Mrs. Lucarelli?
Yes.
Ms. Marata?
Yes.
Mr. Riley?
Yes.
Okay, written communications. Thank you letter, Hardison Township to Mr. Magia for Safety Town 2025. Thank you, Mr. Magia. We also got a letter from the TREP team that participated at the Hardison Day. They wanted to thank the school and tell us about all the projects that they did. I can share that with you. That just came in today. The microphone is open for public comment now on any subject.
Good luck.
Please come up, state your name and address.
Jeff Altieri, 14 Bracken Hill Road.
How you doing, Jeff?
Good, good, Ed. So I will take exception to one thing Ed said, just because he greeted me, was talking about the direction that this board is going in. Forget the first hour aside. It took us 30 minutes to get a resolution passed, which again, we know is just a statement, it's not actual policy, that everybody on the board voted in favor of, okay? That type of dysfunction does not happen in an organization where things are going well, okay?
I'm going to interrupt for a minute.
That's fine, I'm open to the dialogue.
Give him his time.
Okay.
Yeah, don't interrupt.
So that's
Talk
fine.
to the guy.
Yeah, and we can talk later, Ed, but again, that would be my one exception to what you've said tonight, is that I can't agree with that, you know, with
That's
that
fine.
statement, all right? Everybody agreed to it, but the way it was brought to the table was done with such dysfunction that it took over a half hour to get it to pass. I'm just gonna put that out there. The second, as far as the social media policy goes, and no one has read it, they absolutely should, but you are all leaders in this community, okay? People look to you. And if you're doing something that you're calling other people out for doing something similar, okay, and you hold office currently, you should look in the mirror and look at how you're doing things. And as board president, being a moderator in a group, which I would like to mention, I am not allowed to comment in, even though I have been slandered in that group, okay? I am not allowed to comment in, okay? For you to allow that to happen, and even, like you said, whether you accept or deny policy, accept or deny, your role in that group, okay? You should be, as a leader, you should go ahead and publicly say that you're gonna renounce your role in that group and not take part of it. And be a leader and be a role model for the rest of the community. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else? Okay. With no more comments.
I Can I say anything now?
Sure.
Oh,
Not in response
okay,
to
let's
that.
close public comment.
What?
Yes, go ahead.
It was just, we spoke about this, and although it might have been sloppy the way we handled that, we don't get to meet together often as a group, and it's a way to get it out and talk. Now, it might not have been correct, but to me, we don't get to speak because committees are only allowed to have so many people in them, and we have to start throwing out some dirty laundry out here in front of everybody. I don't think that's a bad thing. If we can discuss about it, if we can talk about it. That's why that possibly went as longer than it should have, and maybe the process was wrong, but I think we should be able to talk in public however we feel. That's all I want to say.
The purpose of the board is actually to come together and do this in public and to inform everyone. This is a board's meeting, and comments are welcome, and everybody can come up. And there is no time limits other than public comments, but again, like Ed said, we had a great discussion and we've accomplished a lot, so.
You called roll call before anybody started talking. It's on video. Just want to point that out.
You're out of order. Okay.
But we're having a
With no further action or discussion required of the Hardiston Township Board of Education at this time, the motion was presented to close the meeting by me, Donna Carey.
Second.
Second by Nick. To adjourn the meeting at 8:43. Thank you. A motion to adjourn. Thank you. All in favor, say aye.
All right.